Devon Larratt just went on a podcast with Coach Ray from Voice of Arm Wrestling. In this podcast, Devon predicted Auden's upcoming match at King of the Table against arm wrestling Whisperer. Now, of course, Devon might just have a slight amount of bias, but at the same time, I think he does give us some useful insight for this match. But in this podcast, Devon also talks about some potential problems for Auden in this matchup. Let's take a listen to what Devon said.
We started to talk about the Whisperer match summer or late fall, sometime early fall. I think we started to talk about it. We're like, yeah, that's a good match. Maybe you lose, maybe you win. Good match, good match. In the last year, 1 year, it's crazy, okay? I believe that Auden's put on like 40 pounds or 45 pounds. All he does is train for arm wrestling. So I just think he's more than capable, really. I think Whisperer's in big trouble.
So as we can hear, Devon is considering Auden to be the huge favorite going into this match, which is no surprise. Even if he didn't think Auden could win, in reality, he would still have to pick him as the favorite because that's just what you do. But in this case, it sounded to me like Devon genuinely considers Auden to be the favorite for several reasons. Firstly, Devon talks about how even a year ago they were considering this match. Back at this point in time, him and Auden were thinking of this match as somewhat even. But now that the match is actually happening, Auden has had a year to make improvements, and throughout this time, of course both Auden and Whisperer have become stronger, but according to Devon, Auden has gained 40 pounds. It's difficult for me to think that Whisperer could have made more progress than Auden did over this last year, considering how much weight Auden has put on. Auden's frame was already way bigger than Whisperer, but now he is really beginning to fill out. Sounds like Auden is well over 200 pounds at this point. So not only is there a huge size gap just in terms of frame and arm length, but Auden is coming in as the way heavier guy as well. Now later on in the podcast, Devon discusses some potential issues for Auden, and this is his endurance, which may be a little bit surprising to a lot of people. Devon mentions how everyone would just assume that since Auden is Devon's kid, he's gonna have world-class endurance automatically, but this doesn't seem to be the case. Devon says that Auden is actually very explosive, and he's not convinced that Auden's endurance is better than Whisperer's. If Auden does get sucked into a long, drawn-out battle, this may cause him some serious problems. Whisperer really has that anaconda-like bleeding hook style where he just continues to commit his shoulder harder and harder and continues to turn his opponent more and more palm up as he finds the ability to do so. If a situation begins to develop where Auden's elbow flexor starts getting exposed, he may be in some deep water. Whether this is due to Whisperer being able to force the hook or finding connection without his wrist, Devon is saying that Auden needs to be mindful about finishing the match as quickly as possible. Devon said that Auden should secure the first 4 wins, and only then should he consider allowing the match to go into more of an endurance-based lane. At that point, he would be in play mode. So let me know what you guys think about Devon's take on this match. I think for the most part I do agree, although I may not consider Auden to be quite as heavy of a favorite since he is still so untested. It is interesting though that Devon has arm wrestled Whisperer somewhat recently, so if anyone has a good idea of both athletes' levels, it probably would be Devon. But if he is right and Auden does take this one convincingly, I hope that Auden will just go right into the hook in rounds 5 and 6 so that we get to see that war, just over 1 week out from today.